$100 on the line, and it comes down to the line here. A game number 5 between Core on the Malians and Voldemar on the Chinese. One and all, welcome back to the Age of Empires 4 action. That's right, we've got a competitive series on a brand spanking new map created by Abbasid. It's a beaut. We've relished in it. I've loved all the games we've cast. I mean, I can't believe this, guys. And this is why you should follow this channel, by the way. We have been live for almost 7 hours casting just this map. And somehow, I am still entertained. And no small part thanks to these players. They've had some incredible games, really entertaining to watch. Essentially kind of having this very aggressive playstyle versus very defensive playstyle. A clash of ideas, if you will. Love that. Hate to have those defenders versus defender style. Don't mind the attackers versus attackers, but it's always intriguing to see whether attack or defense can win out. And I'm wondering if we're just going to have a more greedy line out of both of these players. Because Malians versus Chinese... It feels like the Malian players just want to get that castle as quickly as possible. China, that's normally a defensive civ, feels like they want to play a longer feudal. Logic being as your opponent suffers more because you're keeping them away from that Castle Age Fulani timing, which explodes the Malians' economy. I wonder if there's any 2TC potential here for Malians, though. I know it's on everyone's mind right now because of the changes. Those that didn't see it, Malian TCs do not require stone. They actually require gold. So wood and gold will get you what you want. Even before that, there was a few players like Cat that were starting to experiment with multi-TC builds off of Mansa on a delay, which I don't mind the idea of. I don't think you'd necessarily want to rush TC here because then the Chinese player will rush TC. And they will typically rush a TC quicker because of how good the Imperial officials are. So I think you want to try to like apply some pressure, and then you can consider it on a delay. Looking at the spawns right now, Stone is definitely there to kind of be greedy for China if they want to. Like the tree lines as well, Voldemar has a very defendable location with the natural defenses. It's just one long wall over here, right? On the other side, Malians a little bit more exposed with a wider spread between the tree lines, and they have got some small tree lines to the west, but it's very far out your base. You're unlikely to send villages that deep. Malians tends to play more condensed than most civs in the game. And berries, things like that aren't going to matter much. Remember, in terms of food value, you are going to start with 5 sheep each, and then it's the deer around the map. You have 5 deer underneath your TC. This is why I thought Malians would be a good pick, by the way, is there's not many civs that we've seen so far that can get away with just sitting at home and kind of just crapping themselves about when the enemy army is coming. Malians is one of those civs, though, due to the fact that they can just sling cattle to themselves and eat them, right? They're basically able to convert gold into food. One negative of Malians, at least, is you can't get the fat stack gold veins because there's no 8k vein on this map. You're also a little bit more limited in your options on where you can vein up because a lot of them are on the water side. And I can't believe I just said vein up like that. Genuinely sounds like an addict's statement. Yeah, just vein up, bro. We have to see who's going to get road raged in this one, because we have got the bolster of the economy. Imperial Academy already coming. Mansa on the other side. We're probably looking at Horseman opening, Donzo reaction, which is pretty atypical. And then eventually you'll see Malian players usually just add in archery rangers, anticipating their opponent might try to pressure them. Say, actually, like one of the most popular kind of duets for some feudal pressure for Chinese is they'll open Horsemen, and if they feel like they can do more or they need to do more, they will naturally tend to go towards archers. What would be cool to see here is Horseman Spears, just because you've got to be expecting javelins from Malians. It's probably, I want to say, the most built unit in feudal at this stage. Full-facing woodline is a bit tough as well. Like, I'd be a bit paranoid about having to do this. If it was a back spawn much closer, you'd feel pretty content because you kind of get where your archers. The upside of this spawn, though, for Core, is it means that the back side of his base is a perfect area to drop the Fulani. Whereas if he'd been gathering from a back tree line, he probably would have been forced to put it out on the flanks or closer to the enemy base. Love the barbecue drop, though, and this is close enough for a ball pull towards the choke point. I was wondering if we were going to get Pro Scouts. I'm not really expecting it here. I think Pro Scouts is too much delayed pressure. It allows the Malian player to get away with being greedy. And he's already being greedy. Second pit mine already being set up, even though it's towards the center of the map. Love the griefing as well. Cool, just trying to basically shove away the deer so that he doesn't have superior gathering rate. Really important as well because, as we know, Chinese players are greedy. They usually don't like to rush wheelbarrow. They can, they just choose not to because that would be less food and gold into more greed. How did you guys vote in the end, by the way? I am now very curious. 58% core, it's 42% on Voldemar. Pretty balanced, I'd expect that. You know, Malians seem, like on paper at least, they're really good on this map, and at the same time, Voldemar is on one of his signature civs. And yes, to confirm for camera off on the YouTube side, this map is no fish. There is no fish whatsoever. The water side plays relevance in the mid-game, not in the early game, because that's when you want to get gold, relics, and potentially a sacred site win condition. First building's coming in. Racks and archery range. Other side. Oh. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, he just scouted the move out into the stone at the perfect time. I mean, the Barbican's up, right? So we talked about this, that like Malians have to aggro because Malians, one of the biggest pet peeves for Malian players trying to play Fulani strats, which is every Malian player, bar the 2 people on Reddit that tell you that TC is good, is that they suck against fast TC booming civs. And there are not many faster than China. So if you now end up in an eco race where you're trying to inflate up to age 3, the problem is by the time you get there, by the time you have your Fulani value, the eco lead for China could easily be like 15, 20. And that allows them to then catch up. Like China is probably the best civ at kind of dealing with you with this way, because not only do they efficiently scale into the extra village account with Song Dynasty, but the other wildly powerful part for this civ is how quickly they can then just go up. Right? They've built the age up quicker than any other civ in the game. Well, with the exception of Zhuji. Malians are fixated on just getting that age up. So I quite like this. Just a few donzos, a few javelins, poke, stop your opponent from getting free food, and then rush age. The reason it's really good here is if you camp these deer stacks, your opponent's already setting up a granary transition. And you might think, wow, this is great. Except it's not. You're granary transitioning at 7.5 minutes. You don't have a huge economy to do this with. So he's going to need the deers. Launcher's coming in. Jav Spears, the best part is he can just camp here, right? Like this is really far out as you wrap around it with the farms. Why am I getting all these question marks? People this shocked at Voldemar doing an 8-minute granary transition. Have you guys not watched Voldemar replays? These type of games are the reasons why we get to reset the days since Voldemar's last loss timer. This is so insanely greedy. It's unhinged. Scout does see the wrap around the back as well. I mean, Voldemar is finally adding in a Rax, but this is so late. Like, son, I love you, but like we got to talk about what you're doing with all your piggy bank savings. This may be agreed too far. How deep are we on the ranches? It's already free full. That's a how is that harsh? I said these type of games are the reason why I reset the timer, because this is greedy beyond belief. I know China thrives off that greed. You have got to start questioning whether this is a bridge too far. Like, you are allowing the Malians to get the win condition while also kind of just exposing your weak point. Now we're moving in. Donzos and Javelins on in. No wheelbarrow either, because what did we say about China being greedy? Still 45 seconds away. A lot of idle time being achieved here. Most of the eco lead is being idled up right now. And there are at least spears coming out, but Donzos are a little bit chunkier, and the veterancy, the hardened stats rather, only just came through. Love the switch choice. Just throw the Donzos away, harass more eco. Oof. So 3 worker kills. Behind this, we're getting close. Also, another wave is coming. And I love this pivot. Core's like, oh, you're only building spears. Well, Javelins get countered by spears. Guess it's time to send in the archers. Once again, these Donzos will win one-on-one with these Spearmen, guys. Like, it's actually not that close. They have 10 extra health. They have 1 melee armor, which means they're offsetting over 10% of the damage they receive. It's actually brutal just how much of a counter this is to this. Oh my god. And the awkward part is like Voldemar can't afford anything but spears. He's granary transitioning pre-10 minutes. He's gone 2 TC Song. He simply doesn't have the extra economy to do much else. Gold is about to be freed up and traded over. Unfortunately, not though. Are you kidding me? The timing on that with the archers and javelins arriving, if he camps this, the marketplace doesn't go up. Voldemar just doesn't have any way of transitioning, and he needs a transition. I think, like, actually, I'm not even sure Horsemen or Archers works here for him. He's so far behind on the count. It's about to be even further behind, guys. Like, not only is it double the military, make that triple the military. It's about to be a little bit extra on the age. It's going to be 1.5 times on the age because we are about to be heading to age 3 for core here. Fulani is full. Oh, one off. Just slide this one over. Voldemar may be losing in the end in this one on his signature civ. Deciding game. 25 bucks is still nice to walk away from. But walk away with rather, but 75 bucks definitely sounds a pretty bit better. What a way it would be to lose out an extra 50 bucks. Archer's now moving in. Again. Well, I say again, this is the first time they've arrived the backside. There is at least now Horsemen. Great. Good job, Voldeep. However, there are about to be bigger problems on the horizon. Credit to him, though. I think Core probably didn't need to go this hard into archers. We already said that Donzos beat spears. So it's kind of perplexing to me that he switched so hard and aggressively off of them. Like, yeah, I get adding in a few archers because they're better at killing eco, but adding in only archers just cost him a hell of a lot of troops. What? I don't get it. I mean, obviously we have God Vision, right? We always have to keep that in mind. We always warn about that. But your opponent only showed spears. You were in the back of his base. He only showed spears. I think Core didn't think Voldemar would be able to afford the transition. He didn't respect the fact that deer are nearby, that the farms have been clustered out and dispersed around on these small mills. That being said, Voldemar is still stuck in H2. Donzos are starting to arrive now, so all of a sudden these horsemen are counted. Pretty hard. Remember, even more so because like you're trying to attack a unit that has 10 more health and melee armor. It's horrific. And take that home with you too. So, all horsemen removed. Voldemar is now a 0 military boy. Sorry, he's got a scalp. He's walling up though. These vile, disgusting walls will allow him to tech up. And with Nest of Bees, he could hold on. Do like the choice to go into Rams, though. You're going to keep scaling into the blob to try and dive in, but the Rams are going to allow you to quickly go through the walls. The Rams can also block certain things, like, for example, if a tech is happening, it can stop your opponent getting into Lancers or getting into Palace Guard. We also have Poison Arrows coming in, so perfectly timed to counter the age up that's now on the way. 2 more villages are going to get struck down. Interesting goes off the marketplace, but kind of makes sense, right? Like, look at the gold location, guys. There is the Barbican protecting. Actually, that's where this Barbican is proving clutch. If it wasn't for this, Voldemar would be roasted like a Sunday chicken at this point. It's going to be Poke coming in now. Tech up complete. We'll look to garrison the Barbican. 2 villages should be getting struck down, though. And I wonder, does he dive? Core's contemplating it. It's double outpost on the tree line as well, so a lofty amount of arrows coming his way. But anything he can do to slow this down. The tech is complete. He doesn't want to allow Voldemar to unlock a real army here. Level 2 Eco Tech is also coming in for the food, so that means the Fulani just got better. He's going to need everything he can get. Dives into the farms here. The Toxin Arrows should make it much easier to finish things off. But he needs to get past these static defenses to where it's most valuable. Find the Eco, stop the Eco. Dive continues. Palace Guard starting to come out. Sofas have now been queued up, though. Has he really done enough? Or has he thrown it away? Because I'm looking at this game right now, and all I can think is this was close to just being an 11-minute GG. So close. So unfathomably close. But now we have a real concern, a real threat. Sofa production now coming. We have got Musafadi being prepped, which makes sense against Palace Guard. I love the local knowledge, by the way. I think local knowledge has been being slept on. It got buffed. It's kind of ridiculous now. So I believe it's for 3 attacks. You heal for 5 every attack after coming out of stealth. That's pretty wild. When you spread a Palace Guard and a Musafadi line out, and you consider the health that you're going to get on a Musafadi, where, like, we'll find one, we'll click on him. Where is he right now? Are they coming from the back? So Musafadi, 110 health. So it's kind of like, in a weird way, it kind of feels like having boot camp if you think about it with local knowledge. It's a weird way to describe it, but it does make sense. In fact, actually, I think it's, yeah, it is. It might even be, if I'm not mistaken, 20 health, not 15. Cypher Mass is coming. Import Armors is on the way, but I think Voldemar is a rare. Spearmen are now getting queued up. Veterancy is also on the way. Gold-wise, I think Voldemar's fine. He's sitting on about 5,000, 6,000 gold total. Actually, no, more than that. This one's in the wall, so that's 10k gold to work with. No relics have been grabbed by either side yet, but Voldemar is about to change that. We're now roaming out. It's actually a good fight for Core. Voldemar, I don't think you want to try to force a fight to defend this Barbican. It's really tanky. It shouldn't die fast. It's kind of awkward as well. I've seen plenty of games where people waste their time on the Barbican and lose the game. Instead, looks like we're going to be diving past. Core going deeper here. Sofa's getting a good trade. An initial hit that actually matters. And the follow-up wave could be bigger. A lot of farms that are going to have to be vacated. Villagers are running for their life right now. But the Sofas are already onto them. He's breaking through. Sends one wave to the north side to bog down the army. Chases through hunting the villagers. All of a sudden, the eco lead is starting to shrink. Spearmen are starting to show up, but the archer's already here. It's a little bit more problematic. Nice surround there to stop the chase of the Sofas. But pure anarchy in the base of Voldemar here. Good initial hit, but the question mark is, can he keep this push going? He needs more. Love the micro as well. Notice this, he's just targeting them down one by one, because with the toxin arrows, it's enough to guarantee the kill, even if you don't get it straight away. Great read, gets him more reaping. That means that eco lead that was getting out of control has now been heavily reduced. In fact, I would argue at this stage, Core's ahead, right? We've got Fulani stacking up pretty nicely. I don't know why. Okay, there we go. They bugged out for a second there. So you've got 100 per. So about 2.5 villages each. He's got 6 of them, right? So he's sitting at 15 there. Then you've got the gold mines. It's still an advantage for Voldemar, but not as drastic of one as it was. Barbican is still operational. So for, ooh. Have you opened the way to Bethlehem, sir? Okay, looks like he hasn't. He was getting close at 38. How long can Voldemar realistically stay in this corner? He's not even gathering gold out on the map. Like, look, it's actually pretty pitiful. 210 gold income's not great. I mean, he's still got the 2k vein, which is mostly safe. Maybe Siege would make a lot of sense, but it always feels weird to build Siege against China because Springolds are just better for them, right? With the extra health. Sofas. Whoa, boy. Caught, getting awkwardly pinched there. But we have... Cool. Is this happening again? Are we about to begin... Oh, sorry. Are we about to finish this series the way it began? Jean-Claude Van Ram, the German version, is back in the house, ladies and gents. Barbican being targeted down. Sofa pushing past the Musafadi as well. The Barbican is definitely going to be forfeited over here. Army size definitely favoring Core. Voldemar needs those Nesta Bees stat. First one gets queued up, but it's coming out all the way over here, nowhere near the fight. Landmark down. Military lead is swelling up. The Musafadi are able to hold all of this back. You're frontlining with your backline. Your backline is now non-existent. And this is the Zerg factor we were worried about. Musafadi archers rushing in. A keep drop coming in from Voldemar. Not his signature GG one, though. That's usually when it's in the enemy base. This one is a please don't kill me. Nesta Bees reveals itself, but nice dive pass. The Musafadi, the Donzo are heading in. A buggy shot coming out. Looks like Nesta Bees is going to survive this. Eco lead has swelled up to almost 40 again. But Voldemar is running out of room to wiggle here. Line spread them again. Nesta Bees shots are looking onto the archers, not able to reach him. Also, villagers stuck in the midst of it. More being sniped down. Staggered formation. Needs to start shifting past this. Needs to either go in or go out far. Standing here is the worst possible thing. Rams are at least doing a lot of infrastructural damage, but the Nesta Bees is slowly whittling away at the Horde. It might not be enough, though. 10 military bio units for Voldemar. Horsemen have been queued up, but the Musafadi pump continues. Not just that, these Rams. Definitely causing a lot of nuisance here. Finally, they are going to get mopped up as Core once again giggles to himself and walks home. Can't believe this. Spiral's now coming in, so it looks like we are going to have our answer gradually. But an expensive fight, and also an expensive miss macro here. A lot of gold sitting in reserve, just nothing really being done with it here for the Malians. We have got sofas being reboomed. The Fulani is absolutely pumping right now. It's about as good as it's going to get. Pocket economy still has some life to it, right? He's got plenty to work with in the corners. So he's not going to run out of food anytime soon. But I agree, like sitting on this much gold, just buy. Maybe the marketplace just isn't right for it is the only thing I can think. In fact, does he even have a marketplace? He does. Yeah, 130 gold for 100 food isn't too bad. Little Takeshi's castle coming in as all the walls are going up. I'm impressed that one Nesta Bees is still keeping Voldemar alive. It is just one. There's no mass bees on the way. He doesn't have great gold access. Like, yeah, there's the 3k back here. But, you know, you're probably looking for a way back into Palace Guard. I think you just go knobs. Mass Siege is how you win this game now. Because if you try to Palace Guard up, there's just so many Musafadi. Speaking of which, there's Musafadi are looking for the local neighborhood party. Cool. Let's get moving. There's work to be done, son. The lads start to move in. Springald's able to trade out. Nesta Bees barely able to back away here. It's 5 Springalds. It feels like he's already beaten him with the punchline. Siege will not save him. This time, Voldemar, there's no escape from execution. So for Musafadi dive in. Last Nesta Bees standing. Last one down. And the last leg to be swept out of the way. Dive is reaching into the farms. The quality of units undeniable here. Crossbow mass is trying to build up, but the Musafadi is still a problem. Standing defenses are going to slow him down, so Core decides to actually back away from this. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Horsemen starting to punish him a bit. The Musafadi have to hang around. And it looked like that was going to be the break-in, but if I'm not mistaken, Core's numbers were deceptive. He didn't have the troops rallying in. Yeah, it looked like he had a second group waiting in reserve. So the front line broke, and then the siege just gets disintegrated. So all of a sudden, with just mass spears, weirdly enough, Voldemar is able to get some breathing room. But a keep drop now on the way. Core, he understands the game. It's about the gold. And he's looking to take that away. He's like, Voldemar, you had your main meal. You had your desserts. We do not give second servants a pudding in this house. Voldemar is going to feel that sting soon. 1,800 gold left over. 4k stripped away from him. Mango's now coming into the picture. Spirit is massing up, but long term, your gold supplies are drying, right? You're trying to mass crossbows, palace guard, and now siege with only about 1.5k gold left to work with on the map. At this rate, the only play left for Voldemar is he needs a transport ship and he needs to sneak out. Will Juganus be better than Expos against this? The problem with going Juganu is you run the risk of Sofa coming at you. Crossbows is realistically safer. It's just kind of tough. I think he needed the Nesta Bees quicker. Trebs are now being set up, so it looks like Core is kind of getting sick of trying to headbutt this base and is now taking a more slow and methodical approach. Yeah, hand cannon slits are no joke, guys. It's insane. I think someone done the math on this recently. When you look at the attack speed difference between hand cannons rather, and Stringolds on outposts, hand cannons for the cost are kind of wild. They're about as good as Stringolds. No, we don't focus on the sacred sites and relics, Sassy, because that would mean Core isn't putting everything to attacking. We'd have it no other way. Fight spreading out. I don't think Voldemar's winning this. Like, a big chunk of his army doesn't do anything, right? Crossbows have okay base damage, but there's no unit really they're countering here. It's just one Sofa. Now, Nesta Bees is a different matter. Like, that can win you, but you know, Musafadi do kind of hate going up against spears, but the archers are kind of winning it for them. And then obviously, as Palace Guard, Musafadi are having a field day. More keeps coming up. So Core, Operation Contain Voldemar is truly underway here. More walls going up as a result of that as well. Voldemar pretty much boomed on economy now. There's not much more he can add in. Core still has some ways to go. Gold. It's about to get tapped dry. Last 400. Nesta Bees though. Big shots. Core, no, not like this. Not with that broken wall. Come on. Don't do this to yourself. Shots come in. Musafadi are pretty much gone. Sprue advantage doesn't exist anymore. I can't believe this. Voldemar is starting to break out. You've got to be kidding me. No. Hoisted on his own petard. His wall caused that. And now it's a breakout. A creeping smile upon the kid's face as he can sense the urgency, the panic, and opportunity. 50 villagers ahead. Only archers left in his way. He's starting to push forward. Nesta Bees shots coming in again. All these choke points are now Core's biggest weakness. A game that he has been in control of for the majority. A game that looked like it would be over in 10 is now his worst nightmare. Nesta Bees somewhat threatened, but Horseman trickling in now. Voldemar is going to have to reset, fall back from this. A little bit of overextension, a little bit of exhaustion, but Mass Horseman now on the way. A reasonable solution against Musafadi Archer Siege. Donzos are coming on a delay. And we have got the transport ship ready to rumble. This time, it's about relics, though. Voldemar finally sees the opportunity. An opportunity that Core never seized in this game. Didn't touch the relics. Food income is just so far apart as well. I think the desperation is starting to creep in for Core because these pocket ecos are starting to dry up. There's not that much deer really left in the grand scheme of things. And there's only so much Fulani can do. Meanwhile, what Voldemar has is eternal. An ugly granary setup. No, it's farms, right? He's got 2k plus food at all times. And the more likely this turns into a macro game, the worse it gets for Core. There's not really many civs that can compete with Chinese macro. Trebs slowly working their way through this. Core can hold it for a while, right? But I don't know. I feel kind kind of odd about this game. Like, Core never going for the relics on the islands, never going for the sacred site win condition. He was always playing an uphill battle to try and push into Chinese defenses. He almost made it work, but if you had a fallback plan of sacred sites, he'd at least be forcing Voldemar to rush. Instead, Voldemar's vibing. He's getting ready for Imperial Age. Great Wall Gatehouse now on the way. His worst nightmare about to be realized. Only one trebuchet, not enough to stop this one going up. And I think we are close to a swift end to this game. One way or the other, because if this punch doesn't hit, if he misses his swing, he's going to be swinging for the floor. Nice choke point hold. Minimizing the exposure of melee units so the Musafadi don't kill him quicker. Nestabee's assistance is now coming in. There is an opening in the wall. The Great Wall Gatehouse is almost complete. And the crossbows are milking this fight. Finally able to start breaking through. Nestabees are going to be backing up, though, and the Great Wall Gatehouse about to be online. Core needs to do some damage. Sprimmers are moving in. Siege continues to retreat, but now the Knobs are firing from the wall. He needs to get out. Core body blocked on the retreat by the front line of Voldemar. Anti-Siege is about to be going down here. Big cluster up at the archers means he's in trouble. Tech up starting to be saved for by the Malians, but the bigger problem here is Core. If he goes for a tech up, he's not going to have a standing army. This is an overcommitment of a dive. Asgard Flood now commences for the Huntress is on the way, but what are you protecting here? There's no sacred site timer. He never ungarrisoned. Now the beast can be unleashed. Shot triggers on the way. Palace Guard numbers are scaling. We're seeing mass Donzos for reasons which are inexplainable here. The water clash is weird. We got a transport ship with 5, so I think there was a play by Voldemar to try and get some gold here. Yeah. He's going to build an outpost to guarantee he's protected. Monk also now on the island. Skirmish ship has arrived, so looks like water dominance is going to be there for Voldemar. So any little on the sides to help here. He has just teched up. Gold is limited, but if he gets access to these islands, I think it's over. So now Core's in an awkward situation where he needs to contest it. Difficult to do when you haven't got all these upgrades prepped because this is not a Civ that can immediately get a giant Carrack. Even more farms now. Voldemar's like, I got all these villages and they got nothing to do. We're over 70 farms. Containment protocols failed. Castles now falling. We've got the elite techs coming in. It's just going to be a focus on Musafadi to try and mirror the Palace Guard, but these boys are going to get buffed up big. Battle Hardened also on the way. Villages, where are we running? Wait. What? He didn't know about the wall! An absolute catastrophe. Core losing about 10, 15% of his economy there because he didn't know about the palisade. Now reduced down to 75. Military lead is clearly there for Voldemar as well. Gold access has been resumed. He has everything he needs here, which means elite army tactics will be on the way soon. At this point, choose where you attack, really. The whole field opens up. The only thing really missing is, of course, Yuan Dynasty with extra movement speed. But he'll settle without it. Nestabee's shots are coming in on the Musafadi. Palace Guard able to start taking out the siege. And I think we are probably about 3 or 4 minutes away from an inevitable Malian defeat here. It's just so tough, man. Like, you know, you need to trade 2 for 1 at least. When you look at the food income, you see why. It's 3,000 now to 1,200. Elite tech now coming in, so it's just going to be horseman spam. Which makes sense, right? Like, Voldemar doesn't have great gold access, so the Palace Guard is demanding. On top of that, the Musafadi are trading well. So a switch-up definitely makes sense here. Gives him a better agency to roam around the map as well. Maybe there's a way that Core could take advantage of this if he pushes in hard. Problem is, how do you push in hard with just 50 military units as the Malians? It's not like those 50 units are gunners. How does Core win this? Okay, yeah, no, Caller. I was about to say, like, if this goes long enough and he gets, you know, some mass eco, great. Then I see Yuan Dynasty on the way. Imperial Palace now being added in. That's how you kill a man. You're now in the late game, no stone walls, and you're up against Palace Guard that move as quickly as Cav, and Horsemen that just zoom through the world. It's about to get ugly. War Canoe is at least actually burning a little bit of the economy Voldemar has. Kind of helps him though, right? Like in some ways he might be overburdened on the count. Yuan now in. There you go, guys. 1.58 movement speed on these bad boys. They are quicker than Musafadi. So congrats. Your unit does actually counter the Palace Guard. You're just never going to reach it. Meanwhile, look what he's reaching for. East side wrap here, 16 damage per strike. Textiles at least there to minimize the losses, but it's not going to help that much. Villagers, the body blocks are in. They're just running into a blade aimed at their head. Several get struck down to 70 again. Not enough room for the rest of them, and also this Palace Guard tanky enough that they could start contesting the veteran archers. New wave now on the way. Carrack's also being prepped, so full Navy dominance is going to be in the future for the Chinese. All siege threats pretty much just being stripped away. One Mango, just a few Springalds. It's kind of awkward, right? Like, in terms of army quality, if they're directly contesting, you'd actually favor the Malians here. The annoyance now is trying to get that fight. Stupid, typical Chinese picks, right? They just run away from you. I always compare the Palace Guard with Yuan to the egg thief from Spyro. Teasing you. Egging you on. And always making sure you come up short. GG. There it is, guys. Sick grand finals here in the show match series of show matches, in fact, to show off Skarsgård, a new map by Avli. I highly recommend you go check out this map if you haven't already. Let the tournament organizers all know they should be checking this out. This map is incredible. I'm absolutely in love with it. So big shout out to Avli. Big shout out to Hymenator for giving $100 across to sponsor this to happen. And then also, you know, another big shout out to Avli because he had a pre-show match to these show matches where he put 25 bucks in. Absolutely incredible.